You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, Rifters, thanks for listening to the show. Subscribe, rate, review. Tell a friend. Alan Lee is here.
What's up?
Alan, how are you?
How are you? Good, man.
I'm doing well. I woke up, refresh after our long night at the improv last night. We did the improv.
It was fun.
It was fun. It was. I like going to LA with you, man.
Yeah, your friend Pacheco was there.
Victor was there. Yeah, Victor got up. I got up. Alan did not get up. Did you really not put your name in the hat?
I didn't put it in the hat.
But
we're going on Tuesday, so
we're going on Tuesday. All right, guys, we got a great show. Subscribe, rate, review. Our guest today is the great Stuart Pankin. You've seen him in Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. He's in Congo and not necessarily the news, and he's in the Zoom right now. We're letting Stuart Pankin in.
Barney Miller.
Barney Miller? Who's Barney Miller?
The show.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Stuart's connecting the audio.
How you doing, kid?
Hey, Stuart. How are you, pal?
Hi, Stuart.
Couldn't be better. Well, I'm talking to two people.
Oh, yeah. Stuart, this is Alan Lee, the trusty sidekick.
Yeah, I don't know about
Hi, TS.
TS, I like that.
So Stuart, so how I got known about you, because my friend actually interviewed you a few years ago, and he said you were the best guest he's ever had, and he's like, you got yeah. He's like, you got to interview Stuart. I was like, I don't know Stuart. He's like, just tell Stuart you interviewed Bob Saget. I was like,
oh, that's right. Dropping those names.
Yeah, he was like name dropping me. I was like, oh, okay. So,
yeah, God rest his soul. He's a good guy, Bob.
Oh yeah, I opened up for him. He was a good friend of mine. But my friend wanted me to let you know you were the best, Stephen Cooper.
Oh, I remember that interview. I remember Stephen.
Yeah, so he hooked me up.
This isn't going to be as good, but let's give it a try.
It's not gonna be good because Steven doesn't have a TI, trusty sidekick.
No, it's TS.
Trusty. Oh, TS, excellent.
Maybe I'm sorry. Maybe I'm coming, honey. I think I have to go. If you don't remember TS.
But no, you know what it is I got COVID 4 months ago, and ever since I got it, my memory's been kind of
Oh wow, sorry.
Oh no, I mean I'm alive, but what I'm saying, that's one of the side effects where I kind of forget stuff, short memory type stuff.
Wow. Sorry.
No worries, man. Well, thank you for rifting with us, and it's gonna be fun. So I wanted to start off with a question you probably get asked a lot, but you started off in the theater, and then you went into the TV shows and the movies. How did you transition like that?
I paid off a lot of producers and slept with a lot of women.
There you go. I like that.
Well, it is a long. I do get asked a lot. It's a long answer, but I'll try to shorten it up. I was in New York. I got a master's degree from Columbia in theater, and I was doing as much theater as I could. And I auditioned for a show called Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Oh.
Which was the first New York production, directed by Frank Dunlop, who did the original London production. Great experience. So when I was doing that, I guess a casting call came out for a heavy guy to do a show called The San Pedro Beach Bums, which was Aaron Spelling's first and last attempt at hour-long comedy. Right. And the agent, who I didn't know, because you didn't have to sign with agents in New York, he submitted me for the role, and I auditioned for it, and I got it. So that's how I got into film and television, all that stuff. It came from the theater. It came from the play.
Is that, because that's still pretty true, how a lot of people don't really know their agents. I don't know my agent. I know his name, but I don't know him. You know what I mean?
Well, in New York, you didn't have to sign with an agent. I mean, agents could just submit you and stuff. In California, you do.
Yeah.
Where do you come from? Where are you living?
I live in Huntington Beach.
Oh, well, if you should know your agent. I mean, that's my suggestion to you. Get to know his name.
No, I know his name. I just don't know him. Like, I don't take him out to dinner or whatever. You know.
Well,
like
all the agents that I've had, and I've had a bunch of them, I've always known them. I mean, we either get together or eat or go to the office, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a good idea, whether they submit you or not. It's a good idea to know their names.
Well, it's also like, to me, it's like a different class because I come in an expert of stand-up comedy, where like, I mean, I would love to do acting, but I don't want to go out of my way to do acting. I just prefer to do stand-up. You know what I mean?
It's great.
Yeah.
I find that hard. I find that work. I mean, I've known a lot of stand-ups in my time, and it's just too hard work. It's and from what I understand, if you're good at it, you do it a lot. You're away from your family, you know. So I'll stick to acting. You're away from your family enough of you, if you're an actor, but stand-up, wow, that's tough.
And see, I'm very surprised that you've never done stand-up because you have great comic timing. You know what I mean?
Who's that? You or me?
No, you do.
No, is that a phone? Is that our phone? I'm talking to these guys. Get off the phone. No, I don't need a car warranty. No, my credit card is fine. Hang up. This guy never stopped. No, I don't need Medicare. I have. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
It wasn't my phone.
And my wife and the other, she can't pick that up because that's like another line, and it's got to just die. So
I'm talking here.
You're dead to me. All right, that's it. It's done. We're done.
If that's my agent, tell him I'll call.
That's your agent. And I would say something to him, but I don't know his name. All right, what were you asking me? Let's get back to me because this is the important thing.
Yeah. I was asking because I think you have great comic timing, so it kind of surprises me that you never did stand up.
Well, like I said, I never had the opportunity, never really had the desire to. When I was doing not necessarily the news, God, we ran into an awful lot of stand-ups, and they're great. I mean, all these guys, not all of them, but a lot of them are great. And if I could get up there and to make people laugh, every night at the clubs, that would be great. I mean, when you do comedy on stage, you love to hear the audience laugh, and to do it as a stand-up, to do that would be great. But I just never had the urge to do it or the desire to write my stuff. I mean, I'm not a writer. I rewrite sometimes when I get scripts and stuff, and most times people are appreciative of that. But I don't know if I have the wherewithal to sit down and write, different comedy riffs for days and days and days.
Yeah.
And yet he has worked with a writer actor, one of my favorites, Larry David.
Larry David, yeah. Now that's a guy that can write.
Yeah. Larry David scares me. I see him like at the Laugh Factory. I'm like, holy Lord.
Well, I mean, we're not buddy. I mean, I did a couple episodes, but he's an intense guy. He's a very smart guy and a very funny guy, and apparently a great businessman. So he doesn't scare me because I think I could take him, but he'd be worth wrestling with.
Well, see, here's the thing. I get scared of everyone who's more famous than me, and I'm like an F celebrity. I'm on the F list.
What's this?
Like I'm not an A or a B.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I'm on the F list. So like, I'm just like.
I understand that. If I ever saw you, I come up. I never pass up the opportunity if I see an actor, especially a character actor, especially character actress that nobody would just jump to recognize. And I never pass up the opportunity to go up and tell them, I really like your work, because I know if people do that to me, I appreciate it, and I want to pay that forward a little bit. So if I ever saw you on the street, I'd say, I don't remember your name, but I really like your podcast.
I don't remember your name, but that was you're a great F list celebrity.
Oh my God. I actually walked up to Robert Mitchum and said, I really like your work. and he gave me a whole spiel about how Howard Hughes got him out of jail for the marijuana thing.
Wow. Yeah, probably for the outlaw.
On and on. I was like, wow.
But that's really nice.
Yeah.
A lot of people just say thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of people, one guy, I talked to some guy recently that I really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
some people just sort of, thanks, and don't bother me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
And that, but Alan didn't tell you the rest of the story. Then Robert turns to him and says, "Are you my agent?"
Oh boy, he's reaching for the material here. Well, it's good.
He is, but we're not going to comment on it.
No.
My motto in life is JBDNE, judge, but do not engage.
Oh, right. No, I'm taking that home with me,
That's a
sir.
great motto. I have that tattooed on my arm.
I'm telling you, man, especially on the road, when something happens,
Yeah.
you get mad, judge, but do not engage because
Oh.
it rarely works out well.
Thank you.
Now, I wanted to ask you, because you brought up not necessarily the news, where you played the great Bob Charles. I wanted to ask you, who was your favorite writer on that show?
Oh my, there were, first of all, there were tons of them, including Conan O'Brien, who wrote for us for the season. David Hurwitz, Larry Arnstein, Matt Newman, Lane Saracen. These are the guys that I remember because they were like the head writers.
Right.
Those are, Larry and David and I did a project called Hump. It was a Showtime Cinemax, not Showtime, but Cinemax special, which was a system set up for comics. But we did a whole play. I played 5 parts and sang my own original music. And those guys, Larry and David, wrote the script. And I still stay in touch with, especially Larry. So if I had to pick favorites, those are the guys.
Yeah. That's pretty hard to do, to play 5 different characters.
Yeah, but it's an actor's dream if you can pull it off.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Because I saw this movie once called Nutty Professor, and Eddie Murphy played like the same character for about 10 different times.
Right. He had a bigger makeup budget than we did.
Oh.
So I wanted to ask you. So before you got like big into the movies and stuff, you were on this TV show, which isn't really a TV show; it was more like a game show. But I remember watching it. It was called Super Password.
Oh, with Bert Convy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I wanted to say, well, like, what was that like?
It was great. I mean, I've done a lot of game shows and game show pilots in my younger days, in the 80s and 90s, and Super Password was great. It was a spin-off of Password, the Alan Ludden show with the Dear Betty White, and it was great. And Bert and I actually became friends, and we were going to do some projects together. And then sadly, he died so young.
Yeah.
And that never happened, but it was it's fun. I did many pyramids, the pyramid shows, and that was tense. Every episode was tense because you're on the clock. You want to get these people money. You want to do good.
And they're not going to give you any money if they win.
They won't give me a penny. No.
So you want to do good for them.
But Super Password was great. You had some time. You got a word. You could take a deep breath and come up with the answer and do it. So it was, for those types of game shows, were great. Win, lose, and draw, and whatever I did they were fun. Password was great. It's the greatest game show I think ever made. Bob Stewart, who created it, who became a dear friend of mine later. It was all against the clock, and it was sort of, you were always tense. You were always a little nervous. These other game shows were just fun, and Bert was great. He was a great host. Yeah.
So, and then you did the Hollywood Nights, which is like a weird cult classic now. You know what I mean?
It really is.
Like, I talk to people who are like my age or older. I'm like, hey, what's your favorite movie? They're like Hollywood Nights. And I was like, I can't say that. I was going to say Serendipity. It's a John Cusack movie. It has not, but
yeah. Well, no, Hollywood Nights in the old days when it just came out, everybody in uniform, police, postmen, security guards, they would come up to me and say, "Hey, we're in Hollywood Nights. I love Hollywood Nights." I don't know why it was guys in uniform. I have no idea, but people to this day still remember that movie, and it was a terrific experience. It was shot at night. There's about 2 or 3 weeks of all night shooting. So it was a real interesting experience. And guys like Tony Danza, Michelle Pfeiffer were in it.
Yeah.
There's a guy, Gary.
Great Robert Wool and Mike Binder.
Oh, yeah. Bob Wool. So, it was a fun experience on many levels. And I got to play a character that I came up with that was, kind of different than the stuff that I usually do or continue to do in California. I play a lot of martinettes, a lot of strict bosses and teachers, and but that guy Dudley Laywicker was kind of was a guy that I really liked. I really got into him. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then so like that, this is an example of the transition I'm going to bring up, because so like the Hollywood Nights, that's a comedy movie, then you go a complete 360 with Fatal Attraction, which is like a classic thriller movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's great.
Like people say it's a drama, but I think it's like thrillery. You know what I mean?
It's all of that. Yeah. I think it's a terrific movie.
Yeah.
And mostly thanks to Adrian Lyne, who, God bless him, got me the part and did a great job directing. And that movie, like you say, it's iconic. It's just, it keeps going on and on. I mean, I just saw an English show on television, and they were talking about a possessive woman, and they call her a bunny boiler. That's what they call women, like Glenn Close in England. It's become part of their lexicon.
Wow.
Bunny boiler. And that's from Fatal Attraction. Yeah, it was a great experience. It was great.
But
and I was doing that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I'll go.
Oh.
I was shooting at the same time. I was doing not necessarily the news. So I would fly into New York once a week for a day or two to shoot my scenes, fly back for not the news. And I did that for a month. So that was, thank God I was younger, because to do it now, I'd be dead. But that was a very exciting time in my life, doing two very interesting shows. I never knew when we were doing it that it was going to be what it turned out to be.
Yeah.
But as soon as it came out, man, people were just, talking about that movie. And I'm very, very pleased, very proud. I mean, I had a small part to do in it, but it was a good part, and I really liked it.
It's one of those movies that, like, I like to say it's a perfect movie. Like, you could watch over and over again, not get bored.
No, it's the acting is terrific. Michael and Glenn Close were great, and Archer. And Fred Wynn had a part in it. Some David Mamet actor had a part in it. Yeah, everybody was great. And there was enough twists and turns and surprises to keep people interested. To this day, I mean, that's over 30 years ago.
You know what else is a great movie? Which
Serendipity.
That one.
I'm glad we agree, but I'm totally gonna butcher the name because I haven't seen it in a long time, and I kind of forgot the name. But it had Jeff Daniels, and it was about spiders, and you were in it.
I was. It's called Arachnophobia.
Yes, that is an excellent movie too.
Excellent movie. Again, that's a very good thriller
Comedy
type movie. No, it was great. That's Frank Marshall directed it and did a great job. And some, again, terrific actors. Jeff was in it, and Harley Jane Kozak, Peter Jason was in it, became my dear friend. It was a great movie. I mean, every time I glance at it or come across it and I flip on it, it's very exciting. It's very scary. Yeah. People won't watch it. I mean, people who are arachnophobes or who are not crazy about spiders just won't watch the movie. And I understand that. But it's you're right. It's a thriller. It's very exciting and, and logical, and everything works out good. John,
now, I wanted to ask you, because I heard somewhere that you were scared of bugs. Is that because of the spiders, or?
That's a bold-faced lie.
Oh, bold-faced lie. Okay, I was gonna say I'm scared of bugs too.
No, well, I'm not crazy about them.
Okay,
but in Arachnophobia, they were New Zealand spiders imported from New Zealand, and they cost about $1,100 a piece to get them over to the States.
Ouch.
So one afternoon, the producers had everybody gather around the spider wrangler and had them crawl on us. Oh. So that we were used to it. So $1,100, all of a sudden you see something going, you go, ah! It's $1,100. $1,100 down the road. So we all did that, and I wasn't crazy about it because the fact is that all spiders are venomous. All spiders, no matter, these little cute daddy long legs. That's how they kill things that they want to eat. Some are more venomous than others, like the tarantula. I mean, or the black widow. They have a bad reputation, but they're not quite as venomous and poisonous and lethal as people think. And that's enough of that.
Yeah. No, I agree on that, because when I was 8, my dad got bit by a black widow. He almost died. Like, he was in the hospital and stuff. Yeah.
Well, if you're susceptible to them, my wife is susceptible to spider bites. So spiders don't live in our house.
Yeah.
A lot of people put them in put a cup over them, take them out and say, "Fly, my darling, you live." No, dead.
Bam.
You're like, trust me, these are worth $1,100.
Well, if I had an $1,100 spider in the house, I'd capture it and sell it. That's the only thing I do with that.
And then you were also in a great movie, which I don't think you maybe hear a lot about because not a lot of people have seen it, but it was called Mannequin with Christy Swanson, who I loved to death. But also, you were with Terry Kaiser, who is best known for Weekend at Bernie's. So it was like one of the only movies where he's actually not being Bernie. He's talking.
He's alive, yes. Yeah, they were all great. I mean, it was it was nice because we did it in Philadelphia, which is my hometown. So I got to go back and see my mom. And we filmed it in Wanamaker's, which is, I grew up in those neighborhoods. So that was cool. Terry was cool. Christy and Billy Ragsdale, terrific people. Had a nice Cynthia. Oh, she just died. She's such a wonderful actress. Look her up for me, will you?
Right now?
I don't know. Cynthia, my wife was around. She babysat for us in Philadelphia. But she was a wonderful, wonderful actress. I think she died recently. But the cast was great. Stuart Raffle directed it. And he gave us our head as talk about rewriting, to be able to come up with stuff and rewrite stuff and redo stuff. So, it was a nice experience. Again, I played one of those martinettes, those tough boss kind of guys, which I do a lot. That's okay. As long as the kid players.
But like, it's one of those movies where like, you wouldn't expect the people who have seen it to like actually appreciate it, because it, not a lot of people have seen it. You know what I mean?
Yes. The mannequin, the first mannequin was very successful. And the second one was not so successful. Excuse me. And you're right, not a lot of people. Meshack Taylor, we forgot about Meshack Taylor. He was in the first one.
Yeah.
And the second one. I always like to mention actors' names. Yeah, and not a lot of people saw it, but there are a lot of movies out there, thousands, hundreds of thousands of movies that people make and nobody sees. So it's not the most horrible thing in the world to be in a movie that very few people see. You saw it. I mean, you brought it up, so I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, I did one movie. It was called Terrible People. No one's seen it except for my mom. And my mom's like, when are you going to make the sequel? And I was like, first of all, like, no one's seen it. I don't think there's going to be a sequel. And second of all, I died in it. Like,
No.
Well, I was supposed to die in arachnophobia, and then they changed that. So I was hoping that the sequel would happen and I'd come back.
But isn't that like a dream, to do sequels where you're like, all right, I'm coming back,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
I did a series of Disney movies called Xenon, the Girl of the 21st Century. There were about 3 of them. And I was in all of them. And that's a treat, because first of all, you don't have to audition for the other 2.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask you about dinosaurs, and I'm sure you get a lot of dinosaur questions.
I do.
All right. So I wanted to ask you, like, what was that like? Because I remember growing up watching it, and I loved it. And then I actually watched a couple episodes the other day, and I realized that it has adult humor. And I remember when I was a kid, I loved it like it was a kid's show. But now I'm watching it, I'm thinking, oh, my God, I find this more funny.
Well,
You know what I mean?
that's the secret of dinosaurs. That's the secret of whatever success dinosaurs had. It's great for the kids because of the puppets.
Yeah.
And it's great for the adults because of the adult humor dealing with all kinds of adult subjects. It was a great combination, and the writers, who incidentally all went on to be, very successful writers and showrunners on their own, they melded, the puppets and the content in a terrific way. It was the most expensive half-hour television show at the time, maybe still, because of the maintenance of the puppets and the animatronics and the salaries. So people say, why don't you do it again? And I say, well, it was very expensive to do. They did it. They had a wonderful ending to it. I mean, it was a terrific ending when the dinosaurs go bye-bye. And
when you say bye-bye, you mean death, not like
I mean,
Vegas or.
no, I'm talking about, you see a lot of dinosaurs around, Keith. They're not here
No,
anymore.
I'm just saying for the folks at home, like.
Yeah, death. It was death. It was kind of a wonderful, controversial ending because parents the dinosaurs died. They didn't die on screen.
Right.
Earl was saying stuff like, someday this is all going to be yours. And then it ends, and the parents would say, no, you killed the dinosaurs, my kids weren't happy. Well, yeah, some of them were dead, but it was inevitable because, like I said, they're dead. They're gone. Dinosaurs was swell. It was really a great job to have for 3 years, and wonderful people again, Sally Struthers and Sam McMurray, Jason Twillinger, the great Jessica Walter, and a lot of famous guest stars. Jason Alexander and Tim Curry. I always used to say to the producers, let me bring my friends in. I mean, they can do great choices. No, we want celebrities, which is strange in a voiceover job, but so be it.
Well, it's good to know that that's how it was back then, because now that's all it is. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, well, like when you, because like I've tried to pitch a couple shows, they'd be like, all right, who's going to be the big celebrity? I'm like,
right.
Me, I'm the F-lister.
Yeah, well, you can't blame them. There's some that they go for name value, which is I understand that. It's just that when the smaller parts, when Dinosaurs came up, it would have been fine to have some guys that I knew come in and do some voices. It would have helped them, and it would have been nice.
Now, would you say, like, in a weird way, Dinosaurs is the reason why, like, Jurassic Park, because it came out around the same time, so like Dinosaurs is now getting a buzz and stuff, you know what I mean? I know Jurassic Park was a book and stuff before, but now
the original Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if there's any connection. I know that now that they've re-released Dinosaurs on Disney Plus, there's a resurgence of interest in dinosaurs. I mean, I get a bunch of requests for autographs and signing those Funko boxes, which they probably sell on eBay. But the resurgence of dinosaurs, I think, is because of Disney Plus, and people are now rediscovering the show, which is great, because it's like guys like you. When you're a kid, you enjoyed it on one level, and when you're an adult, you can enjoy it on another level and still appreciate the technical prowess of that show because it was remarkable. Another
film that I appreciate, which you were only in for about 2 minutes, is Congo.
Well, interesting. Congo came after Arachnophobia, and that was the Spielberg company, and Frank Marshall directed Arachnophobia and directed Congo. And he asked me to be in it. I only worked a couple of days in that one scene because he wanted the audience to know that they could laugh. I mean, they wanted it to be kind of an amusing scene so that would give the audience permission to laugh. So it was a job that, anytime somebody offers you a job, you jump at the chance, especially Frank Marshall, who's a terrific guy and a terrific director. So yes, I was in it for 45 seconds, but I'm glad you remember it because it was fun to do. I think I worked with Robert Zemeckis' wife. I can't remember her name, but she was a kind of a well-known actress.
Oh, I know her name, Mrs. Zemeckis.
Mrs. Zemeckis. All right, Alan, you got to give him some lessons.
I do. I'm sitting here. Make me cringe some more.
Now, I wanted to ask, because I know in Congo, Tim Curry was in it, and then you mentioned that he did an episode on the Dinosaurs. So what was it like working with the great Tim Curry? Because I think he's one of the most brilliant actors.
He's great. I never worked with Tim Curry. I've done voiceover stuff with him when we've been in the room together. I never worked with him in Congo because he was a whole separate thing. Never worked with him in Dinosaurs because we all come into the booth separately and do the voices. But I did do some voiceover stuff with Mr. Curry, and he's great. I mean, just to think of his oeuvre, his work, his career, it was great, and he did a great job. You know, I mean, you just sit there. All these voiceover guys, which very few people know, but I know, you watch them with not all, but admiration to see them go. Sometimes they go from, hello, I'm this guy, and then they and then they do it line by line because they're playing different characters. And you look at it and say, holy mackerel, that's a certain skill that I could probably do it if pushed, but it's nothing that, you know, it's nothing that would come that easily to me. I have to really work at it. And they're terrific at it.
Is voice acting, because I know it's a totally different beast than regular acting, but is voice acting, in your opinion, easier? Because one of my best friends, when he was alive, he did movies and stuff, but he was known mostly for his voice. So he did voice acting a lot.
Who was it?
It was Norm Macdonald.
Yes. Talent guy. Voice, it's not that different. I mean, acting is acting. I mean, and you have to, when you do a script for a movie, the only thing you got to do is you're sitting in a room with some wonderful people and you read the script and you create your character based on the script. And if the director or producers want a different take, they'll say cut, you do it again. So, but the acting chops, the skills that you have come into play with a script, whether it's on stage or screen or in the voiceover booth. Same thing with Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, we all did it in the booth alone, matching our words to the pre-recorded mouth movements of the puppet, which was tough. But you get, you know, you get to do it. You get to sort of collaborate with your puppeteers. You know, they learn from you, you learn from them, and hopefully you get a decent product. But no, acting is acting. I mean, you gotta put the same thought and creativity into whatever script it is. You know, stage, screen, voiceovers.
So it's very interesting you said that voice, like Dinosaurs, because I knew you did the voice, but I also thought you were the guy in the suit.
No.
And now I know you weren't.
No, Bill Beretta was now a very big producer at the Henson Company, was inside my suit. Mac Wilson was a little English guy. He sort of talked like this, honey, I'm home. You know, he did the voice and the mouth movement, so obviously they needed it to be replaced. But Bill was in the suit, and everybody, none of the voice actors were in the suits.
Wow.
That's what I call hard work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you know, that's tough. But yeah, there were 3 people per puppet that needed the puppet to work: the suit, the voice, and the animatronic controllers.
How would you say sitcoms have changed from back then to now? Because now it's more like 1 camera shot type of things compared to 3 camera shots. And which ones did you prefer?
You're talking about ones I was in?
Yeah.
Well, I can't talk much about sitcoms today because I don't watch them. I find that I don't want to insult anybody, but they're not that challenging and they're not that fun.
Yeah. Like the jokes are easy, not really crisp.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about, you know, off color. I mean, that's not, I mean, they're just, I don't have the patience for that kind of comedy anymore. It's not that funny to me.
Yeah.
In the old days, well, I never did the Mary Tyler Moore Show or MASH and stuff, but those shows were great. They had some terrific writers. I mean, I did a lot of sitcoms, and
Suddenly Susan,
which is
one of the best sitcoms ever.
That's funny. It's I you know, of all the shows, and I try to watch them, I don't remember watching Suddenly Susan.
Really?
But I'm gonna try to find a copy of it and see it. I mean, I remember who was the one that Brooke Shields was started?
Brooke Shields. I'm trying to think of who Brooke Shields is.
Come on, gorgeous. Huh?
Is she the one who was dating that Val Kilmer guy?
I don't know. But I think most of the stuff that I've done, Suddenly Susan, who was in that? Who started that?
It was Judd Nelson.
Oh, well, wait a minute. And Suddenly Susan might have been Brooke Shields, because
Yeah.
I remember doing. If that's the one I'm thinking about, yeah, I enjoyed doing that a lot. You guys got to look this up for me. Was one
I
that
want
there
to,
was-
but I feel like it's rude if I'm on the phone during an interview because
No,
I
it's
love
not
you.
rude.
And
It's not rude. There's, something, when you get to be my age, you forget
okay, I'm looking it
lots of
up.
things.
It is Brooke Shields, yes.
Yeah. So yes, Suddenly Susan, I do remember that.
It
I
was
remember.
Kathy Griffin too.
Yes, that's right. And Judd Nelson, I do remember that. And I remember really enjoying it. In fact, I think I put a scene or two of that on my reel. I enjoyed doing that so much. I don't remember a lot of the stuff, in specifics that I've done. I just have to say, like I tell a lot of people, there was never any bad things or negative things that I took away from any of the work that I've done. Certainly in television, everything, like I remember doing, not necessarily the news, and we did an interview for TV Guide, and everybody was apparently so nice, and they called us all up and said, "It's got to be some dirt. There's got to be some controversy. Everybody likes each other." And we all said, "No, there isn't." And that's why I feel about a lot of the stuff that I've done. There's very little controversy, very few actors that, if any, that were a problem on the set. Everything was very positive. So, despite the fact that I don't remember a lot of the details of the stuff that I've done, I remember the general wash was a very positive, happy thing. I mean, show business, come on, guys, you know that. Show business ain't laying brick and putting tar down on roads or,
Oh, no.
It's
all about knife stabbing and forgetting your agent's names.
That's right. Well, it's a great job to have. It's just great. We're very lucky to be able to do something that we love to do and are remunerated. That's a vocab word I learned yesterday. Decently, and meet a lot of very interesting people. I mean, my director, friend, mentor in college said actors are some of the most interesting people around. And some they are. I mean, not that, scientists can be incredibly good, but actors, there's something good about actors that, especially in a world where speaking in public is the number one fear.
Right.
Actors don't have that. They just go out there and put it all out and hope for the best.
And see, like, that's interesting because I know, not to turn this into a stand-up comedy thing, but I know there's actors who go into stand-up comedy and they're just terrible at stand-up comedy. But I know stand-up comedians who are terrible stand-up comedians, but they turned out to be good actors.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know specific. I know Ray Romano is a terrific actor. I mean, just a terrific actor. I can't think of a lot of the. Brad Garrett has done. Speaking of Ray, has done some really nice acting work. There's tons. There's tons. You're probably right. I'm sure you're right that going from acting to stand-up is not an easier task than going from stand-up to acting, which is a much more downhill route. But there's a lot of actors, stand-ups who have become terrific actors. I think Ray Romano is great.
Now, so when you did Dinosaurs, you obviously had like a good reputation with the suits, as we call them, and the suits, they probably controlled Disney. So is that a reason why you got a lot of Disney stuff, like just from calling you up and say, "Hey, Stuart"?
Yeah, that's probably true. I became friends with Jamie, somebody who was the head of voiceover casting at Disney, and because of Dinosaurs, I think, he put me into and got me in touch with a lot of the voiceover work that I did after Dinosaurs. So that was a cherry on the cake. I mean, that was a real nice benefit because voiceover work is great. You show up naked, you read the script.
Show up naked.
Not everybody appreciates that, but hey,
it's a good joke.
You can use it.
I think I'm like you, where I like my jokes crisp, to the point, funny. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, I don't really like sexual jokes. I like jokes if it has like a pinch of it, I could deal with it, but as long as it's crisp.
Good for you. I mean, when we did Not the News on cable, we had the option to do off-color stuff, nudity, because it was cable. I mean, you could do it those days. We never did. I mean, we never did off-color jokes, bad language, nudity, and I appreciate that. It made me one of the reasons to be proud of doing that show. It's the jokes came from some terrific writers, that came up with some interesting protocols as far as the news and interacting with famous people, politicians, actors, without having to be blue, without having to work blue.
And then you were also in the Oscar movie, The Artist.
The Artist, baby.
So like that's got to be like the cherry on the cake for you. You know what I mean?
No.
Okay.
Broke my heart. I worked 2 days on The Artist. I worked 2 days on The Artist. I filmed the first day, which is mostly what's in the movie.
Right.
The second day, I had a big sequence of scenes with the leads and with the extras, where I'm directing them on the scene while they're dancing, and I was having a great time. They were having a great time. It was a very, I mean, to pat myself in my back when I left. The you know how they applaud for you when an actor leaves. It just went on for a day. People really enjoyed what I did, and I had a great time doing it. Not in the movie. Gone. Not a single frame of that was in the movie.
Oh.
So it's a little heartbreaking. It ain't the cherry on it. It's more like the pit on top of the cake. It was, and I saw it at a screening at the Academy, and I'm watching. I said, "Hey, Joy, hey, my wife, here it comes. Nothing. Zilch, nada, nunco, nothing."
Holy Lord.
Yeah. So it was.
I guess I
it
mentioned.
happens to a lot of actors, I'm sure, but this was a heartbreaker because on the set it seemed like it was going so well, and on the screen it went away.
I guess I'm just saying, like, you have an Oscar movie underneath your belt, so that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, you know, a lot of actors auditioned for it, and I got it, and I did my job, and I'm very pleased. I mean, Fatal Attraction was also nominated for, I think, 7 or 8 Academy Awards. I don't know if it won anything. But yeah, I'm very pleased to be involved with those projects. I mean, they were both good. I think The Artist is driven me.
Yeah, I agree.
Bastard did to me.
Yeah. And like, you know what's weird is like the people who are giving these Oscars, like, I feel 90% of them that win deserve to win. But for example, like The Lion King won in 1996 or 1995 or whatever, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, lions don't talk.
No, they don't.
So we're giving an Oscar to a movie with, I don't know. You know what I mean?
No, I understand. There's a lot of actors. Look, personally, you can cut this if you want to. I think awards, unless you're involved, and I was involved with the awards world in the Cable Association. For $30 concealed holster is taking the world by storm. Now, who was that? Is that you?
Oh, this is my. Sorry.
Oh, Alan, you know, I gave up surgery to do this interview, and now you got it.
Just came on.
Oh my gosh.
I thought you were about to say that. So I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
All right. So anyway, award shows, unless you're involved with them, are stupid. They're so subjective. Yeah. You know, they're often political. I mean, just look at the Hollywood Foreign Press. And sometimes people do. I mean, how do you compare one performance to another, let alone one performance with 4 other performances? It's so subjective. Yeah. You know, I mean, best comedy, maybe best drama, best horror. I mean, so I'm not a big fan of awards. I'm a member of the Academy, and I vote when I can, but I vote for my favorites. You know, people that I think deserve it. But you know, a lot of people have deserved Oscars, and a lot of people haven't deserved Oscars. So enough of that. I'll probably be blackballed.
No, that's honest. That's very honest. I can't believe that's you know, you don't hear that often.
Well, I mean, I think it's true. It's a political and business opportunity. Look, the Oscars came about to buoy up the reputation of the movies. I mean, that's what they did. 1927. That's what it started, and then
Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel.
Hollywood Roosevelt. Yeah, we were there. It was kind of cool. And then television came up with the Emmys because the movies were now, you know, I mean, it's all, there's a great business element to it that drives it. And it I don't know what the word is. It makes the business perhaps more important than it is. I mean, I think movies and television and theater, I think that's important. I think it can change lives. It has changed lives. Yeah. And I think some of the performances, if you're into those performances, are spectacular. I mean, I look at some you know. But a lot, like years ago, I worked with an actress named Amelia Scala who did Roseland. She was incredible. Not nominated, not even, nobody even mentioned her. So I know that people, you know, fall by the wayside. I also object, incidentally, to the concept of he was snubbed. There's no snubbing in the awards world. You make a choice.
Right.
You choose Brad Pitt over Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was not snubbed. I mean, if you order chicken in a restaurant, are you snubbing steak? No, you're not. You know, it's like a shortcut. But snubbing has a negative connotation to it, and that's not true. If you make it as an Academy member, I rarely nominate people, but it's what?
Marlon Brando snubbed the Academy.
Well, he did. That's a snub. That's a snub. But you know, as far as choosing one actor over another, come on, get over yourselves.
Now, Stuart, I have 2 more questions. Is it okay if we respect your time?
I have 2 more answers, and then I'm going to go lay down.
Okay. Well, Alan, do you have any last second questions for Stuart before I ask mine?
He was on Night Court.
Oh yeah, a few times.
And you were talking early on about 1 camera, 3 camera. Now 3 camera, that was Desilu. You know, my mother's Cuban, so I mean, I do know the 3 camera technique. They always allude that to Desi Arnaz, but on Night Court, was that still? This is 3 cameras, because
right.
It was strange to me because you know you see him up there, the judge.
Right.
Always seemed to be like there were so many people in there, like Mary.
In the courtroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah, but that's still 3 cameras. What I'm saying.
I mean, it's 3 camera tape. It was the days when it was right. after, as opposed to film. It's the same technique as I recall. Yeah. I mean, they just take a picture of Harry, you know, and then the other cameras cover, you know, the courtroom or John Larroquette. And then, you know, usually you do it in 1 take in that kind of thing. And then after the scene is over, you cut and you redo it. And then they can get different shots, different close-ups. Yeah. You know.
And it's amazing because we're at 28 minutes on those series.
Right.
Right. And I remember back in the day when there were all those wonderful television shows, Aaron Spelling and others that made all those adventure things that were like they were only 27 minutes. You can find them on YouTube. I'm a freak about these.
Well, like what? What did Aaron Spelling make that was 27 minutes?
He was, I think it was Soldier of Fortune, and
I don't know that.
He was associated with that. We're going back to quite frankly, 52, 53.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't born yet.
You weren't even born. So you see why I was on my phone trying to find these in-depth. Boy, I tell you.
Oh man.
No, but it's great because you know he knows his stuff. You know. This man
oh yeah, Aaron Spelling. He is kind of. When we went back to do the reshoots for San Pedro Beach Bums, he directed the reshoots. Yeah, so it was kind of cool hanging out with him.
Wow.
Yeah, he's Mr. Television in those days in the 70s.
Wonderful.
Apparently earlier too.
Yeah. Berkslaw was good. Berkslaw part of his deal. Berkslaw and anyway.
Oh, he did that. He did those things. I remember those. Yeah, I remember those very well. Berkslaw.
Let me tell you.
I didn't realize that he did half-hour stuff, but you know, I'm not as an expert as you were. That's true.
Well, you weren't born.
That's right. I wasn't born.
Yeah,
I did listen to it in vitro.
To be fair, we don't know how old Alan is. His age is a mystery.
Look, my age, hair's done. Leave me alone.
I'm glad you guys get along because I don't think I'd like either of you.
Well, because I have Asperger's syndrome, so I have very no filter stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like sometimes I say stuff that people get offended, but it's not like I mean to offend you. I just say it. You know what I mean?
I've not noticed anything, and you haven't offended me in the least. It's been a
pleasure. Excellent.
See, there you go. I did the offending here.
Alan has Asperger's too.
Oh well, you know what's contagious? It's contagious. It's contagious. Dear God.
Well, all right, then I'm going to put a mask on. Go ahead. Go.
Not the mask. Dear God, not the masks again.
So, Stuart, one of my last questions. This is actually, I feel, a great question compared to Alan's Night Court question. This one's a good one. All right. So when you get scripts and you look at the writing before you say yes or no to a project that you either audition for or get asked, like do you base it on, hey, I need a job because I need money, or hey, I want to do it because of the art? Like, for example, you worked with Mel Brooks. Everyone in the world wants to work with Mel Brooks.
Oh, Mel Brooks. Yeah. Here's Mel calling, actually.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
Again, he's calling. Mel, I'm busy. My phone. I can't
ask him to do the podcast.
I can't pick it up. I can't turn it off. These are these robo, spam calls.
Oh, yeah.
But you just can't stop if they call on that line. Anyway, yeah, Mel Brooks. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But no, like that was just an example where, like, when you're looking for a project, do you say yes compared on the art form of it and stuff? You know what I mean? Like who they're written by?
Well, I'll be honest with you. There are certain actors of a very high echelon who get it script submitted, and they say yes or no. I never did that. I mean, I got a lot of scripts, but unless it was prurient or an ad for a cigarette or child pornography, and I've turned that stuff down. No, I once did an ad for child pornography and spent about 5 to 10 and 11. Anyway, that's a bad joke. Don't use that. I usually go in and audition. When I used to audition, the agents would say, go in and audition. You get the script. Sometimes they'd send it to you. Sometimes you wouldn't. Sometimes you get to the room and usually usually you got the script, or at least the audition material, even before online, they sent it to you. And then you read for it. And whether you read the script or not, if you got the part, you took it. Right. I mean, you took it because you liked the money. You took it because you wanted to work, because work always breeds work. And like I said, unless it was something disgusting or distasteful, I took mostly every job I was offered. Not all of them. I turned down who did the Stop the Word I Want to Get Off? Anthony Newley. He wanted me to do a series and I just hated it. So I turned it down. Also Joe Flaherty wanted me to do a series, and it might have been the same series, but I just thought it was terrible. But that's a rare occasion in my life. I mean, when I audition for stuff, usually I know the show that it's it's a public entity. So you're auditioning for Night Court or Desperate Housewives. So it's not gonna be terrible. But as far as I'm concerned, I took it. I usually take everything that I'm offered. Happy to do it. Happy that they want me, and happy to get the money.
Yeah, awesome. Well, my last question is this, and this is probably going to be a 5-minute answer. So tell Mel you'll call him back.
Mel, I'll call you. There's a great guy, incidentally, Mel Brooks. There's a.
God, what a
yeah. So Rick Moranis is making a comeback to the Honey We Struck Myself series.
Oh, good.
You were in the third one where you played his brother.
Right.
So I don't know if you heard about this, but is there a chance that you're going to appear in this new one as his brother, or is this like new shit you're hearing from Reza Riffs?
Well, I know Rick, when we did Honey We Shrunk Ourselves, which for the audience's information was the first made-for-video production. It was made to go right to video.
Right.
When we did that, I'd worked with Rick on a movie called Big Bully, I think, before. So I knew him a little bit.
Tom Arnold's in that. He's my boy.
Tom Arnold, yeah. I worked with Tom.
Tommy.
Yeah, interesting guy. And during that time of Honey We Shrunk Ourselves, or soon after, his wife sadly died, very young. So Rick gave up the business admirably to take care of his kids. He just didn't work for years and years and years. Now that his kids are older, I think now he's getting back to the business, and I'm very happy. And as far as Honey We Shrunk or the third or the fourth episode, nobody's ever called me about it. It's probably going to be a whole new deal.
Right.
If they call me to come in and do some, I'm warm up the car. I'm ready. But I haven't heard about anything specific.
They should.
Well, why don't you call Rick?
I don't know, Rick.
Tell Rick he that Stuart was on Razor Riff boom.
He just
You know,
froze.
I feel so bad for Rick Moranis because, like you said, he retired, and then Ryan Reynolds. I don't know if you know who Ryan Reynolds is, but he's like the biggest.
I love him.
He's the biggest star in the world right now. He was the biggest Rick Moranis fan, and like there's a famous story that he wrote and called Rick Moranis every day for like 2 years to get him to do one of these commercials. And I guess Rick finally got enough of all this fucking emails and stuff from Ryan Reynolds, so he finally said, "Okay, I'll do one of these commercials for you." They did it. It was hilarious, funniest commercial. The next day it aired, right? And then the next day, poor old Rick Moranis is walking in New York City and someone sucker punches him.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I actually was going to write to him.
That's right.
And sadly never did.
Wow.
Because we used to be Christmas card buddies. I remember that. I was so angry.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody, to punch Rick Moranis, what the?
Yeah.
Terrible.
So, I feel bad for him because the one time he gets out of the spotlight to do something, then they're basically blaming it on Ryan Reynolds, which whatever.
I find that hard to believe. I think an idiot wants to, because that was a trend in New York, maybe even LA, that to make your bones with a gang or with a punch. It's the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's like, I can't even think about it and talk about it because it is so inhumane. It is horrible.
Barbaric.
Yeah, barbaric.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
giving
saying.
a good name to barbarians.
All right. Well, Stuart, where can the folks at home follow and support you?
Plug away, Stuart. You're the man.
Well, I got, I did a movie just before the pandemic called Deep in the Forest. That's on VOD. It's maybe come and gone. What I do nowadays is podcast, talk to guys, nice guys like you.
Thank you.
You can do a cameo. You can, reach out to me on Cameo. I can do stuff for you. And a thing called Memo, which is a American/European cameo thing.
Oh.
You can do that. Cameo and Memo. Cameo and Memo. So
I was going to actually ask you if you were on Cameo, and if not, I was going to say I could get you on because I'm on Cameo.
Yeah, I'm on. I've done a few of them. It hasn't been pouring in, but that's okay. I've had a good life. I'm nearing death, and it's fine.
Well, Stuart, thank you so much because I get a lot of no's. So I want to say thank you so much for giving me a yes.
Thank you, Stuart.
You guys are really a pleasure to talk to.
You are
You
charming.
get along so well.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, Stuart, have a great day. And
thank you, Stuart.
You're
come back
very, very
anytime
welcome.
you want to rift and, just shit talk the Oscars. We're here for it.
Well, anytime you want to have something you want to talk to me about, you know where to find me.
All right. Well, have a great day, Stuart.
You too, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wonderful.
That was the interview.
That's our man.
That was Stuart Pankin. Guys, subscribe, rate, and review. And wow, what a great show, man.
I recognized him the moment I saw his picture because he's done a lot. Because I said, damn, I've seen him before. I did. I just recognized his face.
Yeah.
We've had that also do a lot of work. I kind of recognized him like the last 2 guests ago. He was wonderful. What a sweetheart.
It was a great show, man. All right, Alan. We'll see you next week, buddy.
You got it, man.
All right. Bye.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.